What's going on, guys? It's Michael MGF, and today we are continuing the LEGO Star Wars Rogue One set reviews with Director Krennic's Imperial Shuttle, and the set number for this one is 75156. Recommended ages are 9 through 14, and an SP's count of 863, while the price point is $89.99, the most expensive set of the entire wave. And honestly, I thought the shuttle was going to be a little bit bigger for some reason, but regardless, the lineup of minifigures included with this set is just fantastic. The Death Troopers and Krennic especially, along with K2, just so good. I think Cassian Andor should have been included with this set, honestly, to go with K2, but it doesn't really matter, and that's not really a problem if you do plan on picking up the U-Wing, which I reviewed yesterday. But anyway, guys, this is the biggest set. Let's hope this review won't be too lengthy. And with that all said, before I run out of my ability to words, let's get started. Okay, so of course, first up, we've got the man himself, Director Krennic, the one who oversees the security of the Death Star, and this is a really good figure with only a couple minor things I want to point out that I kind of wish were better, but it's really nothing major at all. This is an awesome representation of Ben Mendelsohn in LEGO. They absolutely nailed the likeness to him. That is definitely Ben Mendelsohn's LEGO minifigure. I love that face and everything about it. That looks fantastic. It's just, if we go ahead and pull off his dark tan hairpiece here, there's no alternative face. There's no double-sided print, there's nothing. It's just this face, which is okay. It's just confusing as to why LEGO, for whatever reason, decided not to give him a double-sided face. I don't know what the reason was. I mean, the space was there. You just, could cover it up with the hairpiece like normal. But we just got this, and that's okay, because this is a fantastic-looking face. And I mean, Ben Mendelsohn, something I want to point out, in the movie, he's more so got gray hair with like tints and, highlights of brown. And so I understand why LEGO decided to go with dark tan. It's like with their color palette, this is the in-between, this is the middle ground, so I understand that. But the cape, you can see, is a bit of a different white color in comparison to the rest of his like Imperial suit. So that's a little awkward, and that's why I'll probably be putting on a standard cape that isn't, this newer material that we've had this past year. But obviously it's needed for this set so that he can, fit inside the cockpit. The torso is awesome. I want to point out the torso is simplistic, but it absolutely is accurate to Director Krennic's attire in the movie, and LEGO nailed that design. That looks great. He's got a silver blaster rifle, which I was surprised because in the trailer and so far from what I've seen, we've only seen him with a blaster pistol, so I'm surprised LEGO didn't decide to give him the same pistol that they gave Jyn Erso in the Rebel U-Wing fighter, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. But you can see the legs are black. There's no detail at all, which is kind of unfortunate. A lack of leg printing is, never a good thing, and it definitely looks a little strange, and I will absolutely be fixing that for my minifigure. But yeah, here's the detail on the back, which is super cool. A couple canisters attached to the back of his utility belt. No idea what they are, but that'll be something interesting to find out in the Rogue One like visual encyclopedia or whatever. So yeah, fantastic minifigure of Director Krennic. I honestly think LEGO did a really good job with this one. Next up, we've got hands down the best minifigure to come out of the Rogue One wave, the Death Trooper. And I should mention before we even continue, you get two of these guys. And damn, LEGO just nailed it. Look at this. I mean, what a minifig. Let's just take a look at the helmet first. The helmet is pretty much the whole package. You've got everything proportionally correct. Arguably, it's a little long from the side, but I mean, the eyes are all printed in. You've got the ventilation on the front. You have the green in the rebreathers. You've got the detail on the side. I mean, you even have the rangefinder or like floodlight or whatever it is molded onto the left side of the helmet. I mean, everything is there with this new helmet mold, and it is just, so damn good, and I could not be more impressed, to be honest with you. But we're going to go ahead and pull this off to give you a look at the clone head. Just saying, LEGO, the Empire, there weren't a lot of clones left during the Galactic Civil War, and there certainly weren't any when time of the Force Awakens. And well, I guess Kix is actually alive during the time of The Force Awakens, and that is canon. But LEGO really seriously needs to drop the clone heads. It's getting bad. And then now we have them on Death Troopers, it's like, can't we just use this head that they're using on everything? I'd rather have this than clone heads, because for the love of God, This is just insult to injury, and it always has been, and they're still not stopping. Anyway, sorry, rant over. The Pauldron. This Pauldron is pretty awesome, obviously signifying that these are the Death Troopers that I think have a little bit of a higher rank, if I'm not mistaken, and that has a little bit of printing on that for added detail, and that is awesome. And yeah, so moving on, we've got the torso, and holy crap, the torso is just all kinds of detail, featuring different, you know, it's all primarily gray lines with a little bit of metallic in there, but it's all just pouches, the utility bells, all these little canisters and different lines. I mean, it is just so detailed and so freaking awesome. And you got the belt buckle printed onto the belt piece, and that looks great. You've got the leg printing continuing down, and it just, I mean, the leg printing, that's some of the best leg printing I've honestly seen Lego do. That just looks so great. This entire minifigure is just so consistent. Let's go ahead and put the head back on and the helmet, so we're not just looking at his body here. And then the back of the torso. Check out the back of the torso, man. That is awesome too. So much detail there as well, and I just seriously could not be more impressed with Lego's iteration of Director Krennic's personal escort, the Death Troopers. This is just so awesome, and it's great that we get two of them, because as we've seen in the trailers, there's never more than one, and I cannot wait to see these guys in live action when the film debuts in December, and Lego just, again, nailed it. Our third figure is the new and iconic droid K2SO. Man, I connected with this character in just 2 trailers. I couldn't connect with Chopper from Star Wars Rebels in 2 seasons of the series, and that's saying something. So to have K2SO in Lego is really exciting, and this is a really great looking new droid. Now you might notice that they did use standard like battle droid arms and super battle droid legs, and is that the most accurate route? Maybe not, but the body is fantastic. I mean, I don't know how many times I've said fantastic when talking about these minifigures, but they just have so much going for them, and you'll notice that the really cool detail is obviously he's a reprogrammed Imperial droid, so he's got the Imperial emblems printed onto the sides of the peg. And honestly, I can't remember a time when Lego printed onto the side of a peg, and they did it on both pegs for K2, and that is just so awesome that they made sure to include that. And so yeah, then you have a little bit of like minimal detail on the front of the torso, but that is accurate. This new body piece is just so good looking, and it's, you know, proportionally accurate too. And yeah, then the head is super cool. Unfortunately on mine, you might notice that the eyes are a little bit misprinted. They're not exactly centered. They're a little bit too low and didn't fall into place when this head got printed. So that's really unfortunate, and I'll have to paint over that when making my own custom one. But you'll notice that you have a little bit of detail on the left side of his head here, a little bit of red, and then like what looks like a mark, maybe a little bit of weathering, and then you definitely have some more weathering toward the back of his head on the right side here, which is a really cool detail that Lego put on there. You can see that he's got a stud on the back there, and that is pretty awesome. But I mean, aside from that, there's really not much else to cover with K2SO in Lego, and obviously K2SO in Rogue One is not a completely black droid, but again, Lego's color palette and printing capability is limited on, you know, when producing these minifigures on a mass scale, so that's understandable why he looks the way he does. And I mean, honestly, this is a great new droid minifigure, and I freaking love it. Next up, Riz Ahmed's character, Bodie Rook, is another great minifigure in this set, and we don't really know much about his character other than he pretty much just worked with the Empire to pay the bills before joining the rebellion. And you can see that this is a really good looking minifig. The torso is great, having his vest among other things in the, you know, like you have the pouch there, something like what looks like maybe like some wires like coming out of one of those pouches. Some great detail on the front of the torso, and love that. The face is great though. The likeness to Riz Ahmed is awesome on Bodie Rook, and Lego really did a great job with the beard. I mean, with the additional like stubble kind of like outside of the beard, because it's like that's how it's, you know, his beard is shaved in the movie. You even have a little bit of like darkness, like some like shading around the eyes, which is a great added effect, because, you know, if you see him in the trailers, he doesn't really look like he's doing too well in terms of like, you know, keeping himself sanitary. So I mean, Lego did that here from the looks of it, and that's really awesome. By the way, he's got a black Kanan hairpiece, and I believe that is his style in Rogue One, his hairstyle, so it's understandable that Lego used this. And then if we go ahead and remove the hairpiece though and twist the head around, you can see this is the side of his face. That that has the goggles, and that looks pretty cool. He's got a much more like timid and toned down facial expression underneath those goggles, and that is a great alternative facial expression. And yeah, so now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the backpack here, and the backpack is just a basic set of pieces, a basic brown neck brace holding on a dark tan 1x2 plate with a couple studs on it, a clip, and a pistol, and that is pretty much it. Obviously, I don't really think it's acting as a pistol, it's more so just an aesthetic, but if we go ahead and take the hairpiece off along with the head and the backpack, then twist the minifigure, come on, okay, there we go, and then twist the minifigure around, you can see all that detail from the front of the torso continuing onto his back, pouches, straps, laces, all of it there, and it's a great looking design. So that's pretty much it for Bodie Rook, and by the way, he's got a standard black pistol, and this is, again, a great minifig. And finally, our last minifigure of the group, Sergeant Pow. He's just listed as Pow in this set, but he is a sergeant within the rebellion, and this is, again, another great minifigure that LEGO has absolutely nailed, and there's a lot more going on with this guy. And let me just say right now, I'm going to start with the legs, because it's like, the legs are great. The leg printing is fantastic on Pow, and that's awesome, but it's just like, this guy gets leg printing, but not Director Krennic. I'm like, okay. So anyway, you can see that the torso is really great. I mean, I honestly don't know what he's wearing on his vest there. It looks like a tape almost on the left there, but obviously that's not what that is. But yeah, I love the torso design on Pow here. That looks great. He's got a pair of dark tan arms, you know, gray hands. He got a standard long rifle, which is really interesting. And I'm not sure if this is new because again, I skipped out on most of the summer sets. But if we take a look at his rifle here, there are a couple like circular rivets on the right side of it, which is pretty interesting and new for me personally. So yeah, there's that, and then let's go ahead and take a look at this entirely new headpiece that he's wearing. And as you can see, this is a tan piece with a lot of like dark tannish brown printing on the top of it, and then it kind of bleeds all down onto the sides. And LEGO, this, I mean, again, another great new piece. The wrinkles and, you know, the different indents within the design. I mean, this is exactly what we've seen in the trailers thus far, and this just looks so awesome. And we're going to go ahead and take it off though, so we can get a better look at how impressive this head design is. I mean, looking at that, that is what we have seen in the trailers. That is Pow. That looks awesome. I mean, LEGO has nailed this new species with this design. This is great. And then if we go ahead and twist this around, and this is kind of a new head, and it's kind of hard to twist around. There we go. Okay. So yeah, then the alternative facial expression is obviously him yelling. I think in the movie he has some like very special kind of like battle cry that I think the like the cast or the crew or the director have alluded to in the past. So that's, I'm guessing, what LEGO is portraying here with this design, if I were to guess, and that is very cool. Never, you usually see an expression like this, you know, as the alternative. Usually it's like an aggressive facial expression or something else. So that is definitely very cool. And we'll just go ahead and put his headpiece back on here so to give you a better look at the backpack that he has. And the backpack is just another standard like brown neck brace with a like with this piece that has the antenna piece attached to it, and then this dark tan slope, and that is a sticker on the back, by the way. That is a sticker, but that's okay. Again, if you're good with sticker placement, and I think I did an okay job, it's not really too big of a deal, and it's, you know, some great added detail. And holy crap, this is a great set of minifigures in this set. I mean, damn. Holy crap. I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say. Let's take a look at the shuttle. Okay, so Director Krennic's shuttle is pretty much just a really badass version of a standard Imperial shuttle, and it's obviously entirely black, which is even more menacing. And yeah, now this, like I said at the start of the video, I expected this build to be a little bit bigger than it actually is, and that's really just a minor tidbit that I wanted to address though. I don't know why. I expected this to be a little bit bigger, but it really doesn't take away all that much. This is still a really fantastic build, very minifigure accommodating with a lot of playability features. So I just want to give you an idea of the scale. The wingspan from end to end, if we have it folded out like this, is about 22 inches. So I mean, if that gives you an idea for the scale at all. And then we'll go ahead and take a minifigure, just let's take Sergeant Pow for instance, and put him next to the shuttle to give you an idea of just how big it is. So there's your minifigure scale. And yeah, so speaking of the wings, the stopping point is right there, and it's kind of hard to keep all this in frame, so I apologize for that. My studio is a little bit limiting, but you can see that's pretty much the stopping point for the flight mode. And to give you a look at how they're held in on the bottom, you can see we have a lot of Technic going on here, and what holds the wings in place are about 5 brown Technic pins, a couple of connectors, and 2 ball joints. And so it's pretty sturdy, doesn't leave a lot of room for error if you mess up like I did. And so yeah, but this is really cool and very well put together. And then we also have the landing gear down here, and the landing gear works pretty much exactly how you would expect it to. When it's in its flight position, it's folded in like it is now, and then when you want it landed, you just fold them down, and it works just fine, just like that. So yeah, and then something else I do want to point out is we got a couple guns here and here on the front of the build, and that is also a part of the design. You know, just no playability features involved there, but where our playability features do lie outside of the build, we've got a couple of spring-loaded shooters on the bottom of either wing. No fancy mechanism that activates them or anything. They're just there, and you just go ahead and push down on either one as you would normally. So we'll go ahead and I guess take, we'll grab Bodie Rook. Bodie Rook will be our guinea pig for the day if he will stand up. And yeah, so again, the way spring-loaded shooters work, if you don't know, you just go ahead and you push down on the very back end of each one, and they fire and fly off the table, off the studio, into the infinite abyss that I will never be able to recover them from. And hey, that's why we have extra pieces. Isn't that great? Thanks a lot, Lego. But anyway, so now to cover the interior and how this entire thing opens up. So to do so, of course, let's fold down the wings, get them out of the way, and the front, actually we'll start with the cockpit, the canopy piece. This canopy piece is all fully printed, which is super awesome. Love that, looks great. And so this folds up. That's where Krennic will be seated in just a second. And then the front panel also folds up, and this is just by use of some basic connector pieces, nothing too special. But then the 2 panels on the sides, you have to lift up kind of like this and then pull them down. So yeah, that is the entire thing, like wide open. And like I said, this thing is kind of hard to fit into frame, and I'm scooting like minifigures off to the side to get them out of the way. But you can see it's pretty spacious in there, and you can actually seat a total of about 5 minifigures, which is really awesome. And I honestly only expected it to be able to seat 3, but then now actually having the build, I realized you can do more. So there are a lot of stickers inside here. You can see for the main section where Director Krennic is seated, he's got his 2x2 available space. We have a like 3 black 2x4 tiles, all of which have stickers on them. The one on the top is his control panel, and that's really cool. Great design. And then like right beneath that tile and on the side of each, on both sides, we've got the pill lights, like the standard Imperial pill lights, and so we've got those as part of this 2x2. I can't words anymore, man. This 2x4 black tile. Those are stickers here, and then also over here again, as I was trying to get out. And then we also do have the pill lights again on these Technic pieces here, and then again it's just on the same side over here, just not even inverted. It's literally the same sticker actually. So yeah, now we'll go ahead and take Krennic, and we'll sit him down in his little space there. And this is really why Lego designed capes. This is why they made the change to capes like this, was so that you can seat minifigures in really tight and confined and almost less than minifigure accommodating spaces. And so Krennic goes right there, and he attends to his little control panels. And then our Death Troopers have their own stations right here on both sides of the boarding ramp, and the boarding ramp just folds down, and that's it. It's just kind of there. It doesn't really work that well. I mean, it's literally just clipped on there, and it's just kind of, it just kind of feels really tacked on, but it is there, and it's good that Lego didn't leave it out. And then so yeah, the Death Trooper seats, you can see they have a couple of like little axles that they slide into place on in that little like 2x2 available space, and their control panels. I'll go ahead and take this one off to give you a look at the design. This one is actually a sticker for both of them. It's the same design on both panels, but it is a sticker, and but still really nice nonetheless if you're pretty good at sticker placement. So yeah, a pretty decent amount of stickers in the interior of Krennic's shuttle. But this is where I want to point out you can seat a couple of other minifigures. Now, of course, Bodie Rook and Sergeant Pal really aren't supposed to be inside Krennic's shuttle, but let's just entertain the idea that they did get inside. We're gonna have to take Bodie Rook's hairpiece and tilt it to the side because it's a little bit long for him to sit inside, which is why I recommend you use other minifigures like Cassian Andor or Jyn Erso from the U-Wing or MachinimaSound thing. And so this little 2x2 space right here in front of each pill light on, like, you know, in front of these lights on both sides of the interior, you got a little 2x2 space, and there you can go ahead and lift up one of their arms and then stand them on the very back set of studs right up against the wall. And we'll do the same for POW, and if we can get them in there, and it kind of makes it a little bit hard to close this thing up. We're going to reopen it because we're not done. We have some clips and other things I want to talk about inside the interior, but just to show you, when you do this, you got to close up the, you know, the whole shuttle, right? And you can do so, but it kind of limits it, so you can close it up, just not fully. It's just like there's just barely, like, you can kind of see right here how it's kind of struggling a little bit to, you know, stay fully closed. But I mean, if you do want to keep more minifigures inside, that, if you ask me, that's a pretty small price to pay with this thing's design. So that was pretty awesome. I was not expecting to be able to actually fit any more than 3 minifigures inside this thing. So not only, you know, is it really minifigure accommodating in terms of space, but you even have little slots for their weapons, which is all, you know, that just seriously is great. I mean, you can take the entire arsenal of the Death Troopers and Krennic. Speaking of which, let me put the other Death Trooper back inside here. Put him right there. Come on, work with me, buddy. Right there, okay. So yeah, the Death Troopers blasters, you'll notice we have a couple of red clips on both sides of their little seating area, and you can just go ahead and clip on their blasters, and it works just like so, and is really, really great, because I always say in my reviews that it's kind of a pain when you have all of these different, you know, accessories, and then you have no place to put them. So yeah, they just clip in, and it works really well. Now there is another section of this build on the very back that I don't want to forget, and that is, if we can go ahead and turn it around here without knocking anything off the table, we've got like the back of it, which also opens one big hatch, and there is a sticker in the very center right there in the center of the engines, and that is pretty cool for some added detail. So yeah, now this folds down by using some basic hinge pieces that are connected into the, you know, overall technic mechanism on the bottom, and then we have even more clips. So you have 4 more clips for pretty much, you know, you can take Krennic's blaster, you can clip that in there, and then 3 others. You know, you can put Bodie's in there, Sergeant Pow's, and maybe, you know, one other one if you have. So it's really, really great. And like I said, this build is super minifigure accommodating, and you just got to make sure you close it up correctly, because it can be a bit of a pain. But yeah, so again, it just closes up exactly as you saw me open it. You can just go ahead and close, you know, pull down this main panel on the front, push up and back into place the ones on the sides, and then close the main canopy over Director Krennic, and then fold the wings up, and it's already got its landing gear deployed, and it's overall, like I said, guys, a really great build. Is it slightly smaller than I was expecting? Yeah, sure. I mean, but this is still fantastic and an absolutely great display piece. And do I think Director Krennic's Imperial Shuttle is worth $90? I mean, I would say so. Even if I wasn't reviewing this set, I would probably pick it up. But there are always those times where I can't. Like, I wanted to get the Star Wars Rebels ATTE, but that didn't happen. But I wouldn't say, like, if you can't get this set, to really go super far out of your way. But I mean, if you can, you get Director Krennic, the 2 Death Troopers, which are by far the best minifigures in the Rogue One line, along with a couple other major key players from the movie, and of course K2SO. You can't beat that. And yeah, guys, I do recommend you pick up this set if you do want to swallow that pill. That is $90. I think this thing is probably worth more like $80. But again, if you are willing to drop the $90 on the shuttle and these, you know, this great set of minifigures, I would totally do it. And with all of that said, guys, that is pretty much it. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at the box. Instruction manual, extra pieces, and we will wrap up this pretty lengthy review. Back of the box is pretty much what you would expect from a $90 set. You'll notice we have the Death Star in the background of this one, along with numerous TIE fighters, all the minifigures in the bottom left corner, the new Death Trooper box design in the top right, which is badass, the shuttle itself in its landed position, along with all the minifigures once again on the top of the box, with Director Krennic sporting the actual size reference. And then on the back, we have pretty much all the playability features that I just went over with you guys, and it looks like they're on a snowy planet for whatever reason, so I guess we have yet to find out where this is actually taking place, but it looks pretty cool, whatever it is. And then all the measurements over here on the left of the shuttle, as I mentioned briefly. And aside from that, though, that is pretty much it for the box. And I didn't mention the weird, like, app Lego's advertising, because I don't care. We only get one instruction manual, thankfully, and it's a pretty thick one. It comes in at, I believe, about 152 or 3 pages, 153 that you can see there in the bottom right corner. And if we go ahead and continue to flip through, you can see we have our minifigure checklist of renders of each character, which all look great. Cannot wait to talk about the rest of those with you guys. The new Death Trooper artwork for both of these pages, and then the entire first wave of sets for Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and that's pretty awesome. I don't know why I said the full title of the movie. That was unnecessary, but yeah, it is pretty much what you would expect. The extra pieces aren't all that exciting, but we do get another reddish-brown neck brace piece, which is pretty nice. A couple spare droid arms for K2, and other than that, it's more so just a lot of connectors, a few tiles and studs, and, you know, a few plates in there too, and an antenna piece along with this pistol piece. So, yeah, not a whole lot going on here, but that is it, guys, for the entire review. I know it was a long one, but thank you so much for sticking around, and we're finally going to go ahead and wrap up this video. They're the newest branch of Imperial military, the most elite of them all, the Death Troopers. Okay, and there you go. That's it for my review on Krennic's Imperial Shuttle, the biggest set. Man, this was fun to finally, you know, actually pick up, build, and review for you guys. I really wanted to talk about this one because of Krennic, K2, and the Death Troopers, and just to see how his shuttle is, because his shuttle, you know, Krennic's shuttle just looks so badass, and to have the Lego set, you know, even if it is slightly smaller, like I mentioned a couple times, than I expected it to be, it's still a really great set that I totally recommend you pick up. And if you enjoyed this video, though, this review, or if this helped you in deciding as to whether or not you do want to pick up this set, be sure to let me know by dropping this video a like below, and or your opinion on anything I might have said or this set, anything at all down in the comments, mistakes I might have made, whatever. It's all welcome, guys, and really means a lot. And as I always say, it goes a long way, and I really do mean that, especially when I'm doing a binge of reviews like this. I could not push myself right after the night of Force Friday to somehow crank out the entire U-Wing review the day of Force Friday after the midnight launch. I couldn't do it, and that's why you saw the reviews starting yesterday instead of the day before that on Force Friday. But regardless, I'm really glad to finally be able to, you know, I'm glad this has started and I'm reviewing these sets and everything's going great. And also, you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, by the way. I always mention it, and I mentioned it in the last review and every video before that. Links to all 3 of those are always down in the description below as well if you want to catch up on some cool X-Men previews. And I'm going to be doing a Ghost Rider preview pretty soon here too, which you can expect. And all that stuff is always seen over there before you see it over here. And aside from that, though, guys, that is it for my review on Director Krennic's Shuttle, a really great set that maybe is a $10 more than it needs to be, but if you're willing to stomach that $10, definitely consider picking this one up. And I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for sticking around for the whole thing, and I'll catch you later. All right, bye. The set number for this one is 75156, recommended age, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of like a dirty, like, shuttle, and the set number for this one is 9 through 14, those are the ages. You know, gray, line, beauty. 56, recommended ages are 8 through 14, nope, that's not right, it's 9 through 14, gosh damn it.
You were to oversee the security of the Death Star, and yet you allowed for an opening that led straight to the main reactor go unnoticed. You, Director Krennic, had one job.
What's going on, guys? 163, while the price point is $79. That's the U-Wing price point. God.